was doing okay until he got to the part about the sailing. Frank was my friend. Frank was my co-worker. I was asked to tell a few stories and keep it brief, so please bear with me. I'd like to open with a quote. I have no ambition in this world but one, and that is to be a fireman. The position may, in the eyes of some, appear to be a lowly one, but we who know the work which the fireman has to do believe that his calling is a noble one. And our proudest moment is to save lives. Chief Edward Franklin Crocker, FDNY, circa 1910. That's a quote that most firefighters are familiar with. But in reality, to save a life is a very rare event indeed. The majority of people rescued from burning buildings succumb to their injuries later at the hospital. However, in the early 1980s, Frank received certificates of valor for bravery from the Rotary Club in Chester and some other civic organizations. And one of those awards was for rescuing a little girl at the Chester Towers fire. Chester Towers was a high-rise apartment complex. And when a firefighter gets dressed to go to a fire, by the time you get the helmet and the coat and the boots and the breathing apparatus and tools, you're carrying an additional 65 to 75 pounds. So it was under those conditions that Frank brought this little girl down from the upper floors of the high-rise and was recognized with the Valor Award for bravery. I found out about these awards one day when he said literally, I found my awards. And I said, well, what's that mean, Frank? And I guess his filing system was a little less than what it should be. And he had them in a manila folder behind the seat in his truck. And, excuse me, I said, why are you carrying that around like that, Frank? And he said, I wanted to show you, and I wanted to show Gab. Frank said to me one time that he regretted not having children of his own, and he said, how lucky you are to have Gab. And I thought it was sweet that he wanted to show Gab his awards, and so he was carrying them in his truck. And the next time we were all together, well, before we were all together, he asked me, Gab's birthday was coming up, and he was asking about a birthday present, and I said, anything Bugs Bunny related. Loves Bugs Bunny. And Frank said, who doesn't love Bugs Bunny? So the next time we were all together, I said, Gab, tell Frank about the dream you had when you were little. Gab looked at Frank and said, I dreamed I married Bugs Bunny. And without skipping a beat, Frank looked at Gab and said, was it a nice wedding? Were a lot of people there? So that's how I remember Frank, somebody that made you laugh within 5 minutes of being with him. And I enjoyed his company. The only thing that Frank was more proud of than being a firefighter was being attacked. And I always thought it was hilarious. Whenever Patty disagreed with him, it was just the funniest thing to me, because he said one time he wanted to put a big Italian fountain in the front yard. And he said, but Patty won't go for it because she's Irish. And I said, oh, okay, really? And So another time, somebody in Patty's family was, he disagreed with something somebody in Patty's family had said or done or something. And he said, oh, the Irish, they're hotheads and drinkers. And I said, wait a minute, Frank. How about the story you told me about your family arguing at the dinner table? And he said, we're passionate, we're passionate. I said, and what about when you told me Italians like their wine? And he said, with dinner. With dinner. I said, okay, Frank, so us Celtic folks, we're hotheads and drinkers, and you Mediterranean types are passionate and love wine. I said, people are people, Frank. We're all people, and anything that you can attest to being a positive aspect of being Italian, or somebody can attest to being a positive aspect of being Irish. I can say the same thing about my Southern mama and how she treated me and how I was raised. Everybody tries to raise their children to be good people in this world, regardless of your nationality. The only thing that Frank loved more than the fire department in Chester was the Philadelphia Fire Academy. Frank had some head trauma in an accident and was off the job throughout the 90s and into the 2000s, and then got cleared by the doctor to return to work, and the city made him repeat the fire academy in Philadelphia to make sure that he was capable of doing the job. So he went to the Philadelphia Fire Academy at age 50. And it's tough. It's tough for a 20-year-old or a 30-year-old. I know it's tough for a 50-year-old. And every day I would talk to him and he would say, oh, they're really riding me, they're really riding me. And he made it through, came back on the job, and the rest is history. And then we're up at Philadelphia's muster where they have the antique fire trucks. And we run into one of Frank's instructors. And he comes over and he says, Frank, I know you think we were hard on you, but we were hard on you for a reason. He said, I'm 51 years old, and I'm fighting fire with 20-year-olds, and you're gonna be fighting fire with 20-year-olds. That's why we were hard on you. You have to stay in shape, you have to be ready. And after that, Frank looked at it totally differently. Not that they were riding him, they were doing him a favor. They were looking out for him. And that made him proud, and he never left the house without a CFD t-shirt on, some Philadelphia Fire Academy sweatpants, with shorts over top of the sweatpants, looking like Rocky Balboa. And so it worked. They called him Pants on Pants. The only thing Frank loved more than being a firefighter and being Italian was sailing. And I had no idea about sailing. I'm from Mississippi, and where I come from, it's motorboats, and more motorboats. So I got into sailing with Frank, and it's amazing to me, the square rigger ships, the wind has to be behind you in order to push the boat. But on the new, quote, modern sailing vessels, there's a keel that weighs thousands of pounds, and you can sail almost directly into the wind, not quite, off 15 degrees either way, because the water is pushing that keel one way, and the wind is pushing that sail the other way, and it squeezes that boat, like if you took a bean in your finger and thumb and squeeze, and you can make it shoot out. That's how that force of that wind and that water forced that boat to go forward into the wind. There's a lot of science involved, and when Frank was getting ready, when Frank was doing his chemo and radiation treatments and so forth, we were planning a trip to go up to get his new boat, which is on Lake Ontario, and take it through the Erie Canal and Hudson River and down the coast. And so his sister got certified in sailing, his wife got certified, my wife got certified, I got certified. We were really looking forward to that trip, and that's okay, because it's not the destination, it's the journey. And the last thing I said to him, well, second to the last thing I said to him was, I'm gonna have to talk to your nurse, and we're gonna have to get you an Italian looking gown, because they got you in an Irish gown. The gown was green checkered, and I knew he wouldn't want that. But the very last thing I said to him was, Frank, because of you, we all learned to sail. We all learned to sail because of you. Thank you.